All right, so we're going to talk skill transfer today. So you guys know that one of the things that makes CrossFit is our focus on functional movements. We're always working on things in the gym that are applicable in the real world. So one of the things that makes functional movements is the concept of skill transfer between them. So a lot of the same concepts that we focus on a particular movement are going to be applicable in a lot of other things. So these things are all connected together. It's all a big universe of movements that will help us out in the real world. So one of the most important things that we talk about in the gym, and it's really important for people to be able to kind of grasp and become proficient at, is the concept of a sound hip function. And so where we start with our sound hip function is the notion of hinging at the waist to initiate our movement. So we don't want to see folks squat straight down. We like to see folks hinge backward so that we capture some energy in our hips that we can use to apply to external objects and to any of the movements we're doing. So one of the ways that we take our sound hip function and that we see skill transfer from movement to movement is our jumping and our landing position, that first kind of initial position of our hip hinge. So whether we're talking about our Olympic lifts, our cleans, and our snatches, our box jumps, jumping onto one thing or another, one of the things that all these movements have in common, the skill transfer between them, is the jumping, the beginning, and the finishing position relative to where our hips are, in regard to where our hips are in space. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when I initiate my hip hinge, and again, this is applicable either to a barbell lift or a jump of some sort, but in whatever case, the position that I'm going to be in when I start that movement is my butt's going to go straight back. I'm pretending like I'm touching a wall behind me with my butt. If you notice from the side, my knees are really not coming straight down. My butt goes straight back. And so in this position, in that initiating position where I'm loading my body, what's happening here is my knees are tracking over my toes, which is good for healthy knees. If you look at me from the side, I've got a nice neutral spine, and I'm really loading my hamstrings appropriately. And now I'm in a prime position to express energy, either into an external object like a barbell, or maybe I just want to jump. So that's the starting position of any of these movements. Again, whether I'm doing a broad jump or a hang clean, we see skill transfer in the starting position of each of these movements. Now in the finishing position, it's the same thing. So when I receive a barbell in a clean, in a power clean for instance, where do I finish? I finish here in that same sound position with my hips in the right place, my butt's gone back, my knees are staying over my toes, I've got a nice neutral spine, okay? So whether we're talking about a clean, so my hang clean, my initiating position again is that good, nice, stable launch position. My finishing position, I've come back to that same place. It's applicable, same thing with a jump. So I'll start here. And we can't forget though, on the back end, we need to finish our movements in that same position. So I'm gonna land, if I'm jumping, we'll start here, jump, land. And I'm back in that same position. So my knees are over my toes, chest is up, I've got a nice neutral spine. So something to think about next time you're in the gym. Don't lose sight of the fact that these movements in a CrossFit gym are all connected to one another. If I'm getting proficient at one concept, it's going to pay dividends to a lot of other things that I do in the gym and then ultimately out in the real world, which is what we're really after.